good Monday afternoon, good morning if you're on the West Coast. This is our Monday Realtor Mastermind with Grow Global. It's your first time on here, you're wondering what that name means. It's we're a bunch of diverse realtors from all different brokerages all across the country. And what we're looking to do is help us all, each other, collaborating together to grow our businesses so we can grow our network, so we can grow our life. Basically, we want to sell more houses in less time so we can have more free time, so we can have more fun. So we've got a couple, before we get started here speaking, we've got a couple assets for you that you can log into. Number one, we got a YouTube channel. We record these things, and I recommend subscribing to it and turn on the little notification bell. But we've got over 88 videos there. These are agents who are actually doing the things they're teaching. They're not just teaching theory. They're not some coach that did this stuff 20 years ago. Now they're teaching what they did a long time ago. They're doing what's happening right now. So they have their finger on the pulse of what's going on. But so we record them and we put them here for you so you can check them out. But we recommend you get here live. Come live because you're going to get a chance, as you're going to see here in a second, to ask these superstars some questions. So you're going to love it. The other thing we have is a Facebook page. This Facebook page is great. It tells different announcements and things that we have coming. So make sure you get somebody, whoever invited you here, to invite you to get on and get in there. We also have an Instagram page. Follow us there. We put up what we're talking about each week. We have a specific topic each week that we discuss. This week, we're going to be talking about something that's near and dear to my heart, and that is open houses. How to maximize open houses. Look, I hear agents say all the time, open houses don't work. And you know what? They're right. Open houses don't work, but effective open houses work great. So you got to work it effectively. You've got to have a plan. If you're just planning to go there and just open it up and just sit there, you're right. Nothing's going to happen for you. But these two ladies are superstars I'm going to introduce you to. First, I'm going to introduce you to Tomaree. And Tomaree is going to take you through her steps, her action plan. She's going to share all her secrets with you so that you can take what she's got and you can cut and paste it into your marketplace so you can have the great success that Tomaree has had. So Tomaree, with that, please take it away. By the way, if you guys have questions, put them in the chat, and Tomaree and Kelly are going to answer them for you as we go. Tomaree, it's all yours.
Thank you. Hey, everybody. Happy, what is it, Monday? Oh my gosh, it's Monday. So, yes, you mentioned do open houses still work in 2025? Well, like you said, if they are planned, if they are set and ready to go, they do work. So the myth that they don't bring buyers is definitely not true, because especially in our market now, I was having a conversation with Kelly, who will be presenting in a little while because she has some awesome open houses up in the DC area. But we were talking and I was like, so why do you think they work, Kelly? And she said that now that the NAR rules changed back in August of 2024, buyers are a little hesitant to sign with agents because, they may have heard that they may have to pay their own commission. So they're sort of holding off on connecting with agents, and they're just open houses. Every weekend they see an open house, they're going to open houses. So it seems like the numbers in open houses are growing because people are just going to open houses, not represented. So I think it's a great opportunity in that fact, because you get to meet a lot of buyers, explain to them that it's not all terrible and they don't have to bring, $10,000 to close and to pay the agent. You educate them and let them know that I can help you and make this process so much easier than just showing up to these open houses. But I mean, I think that's like one of the biggest reasons why we should actually continue to do open houses. So I think that's great. That's my idea. But anyway, what's in it for you? If you do an open house, you get to get known in the community that you are working in. You get instant exposure to people who are actually looking for property in the market without cold calling. You get to meet buyers and sellers face to face. And if you do more open houses, especially if you're a new agent, you get to practice working with people. You get to practice scripts. You get to feel comfortable and more comfortable actually doing what you do as a realtor. So, and also you get to build a database. Just recently, one of our Grow Global agents, and she's on this call too, we did an open house at another EXP agent's listing in our city, Smyrna. And there were like 24 people that showed up. And I was like, yes, this is awesome. So I am going to tell you how we got those 24 people to show up at that open house. There are lots of open house checklists and strategies, and everyone has their ideas of what's best for an open house. And I'm just going to share with you the things that I do. And then also I'll get Julie to share some links for some open house checklists in our chat. But pretty much what Pat heard and I did for this most recent open house that we did, I want to grow. I was a broker at Remax, and I moved to EXP in November of 2024. So I am starting to build my agent database again so that I can sell more houses. Whereas I was teaching everybody how to sell houses, but I only worked a few clients per year as the broker. So as an agent now, I'm like, I need to get some more clients in my neighborhood. So we picked we looked up all the houses that were listed in our neighborhood by our company, just because we wanted to, connect with agents in our company. And we actually found 5 of them that we thought were going to be really good. And what we did was reached out to the agents. Well, we picked the one that was our number one pick. So we reached out to that agent first. And that agent was so excited because hadn't had any open houses. And they had just lost a contract that fell through. So the house was just put back on the market. And this house was gorgeous. So when you are choosing a house, choose a house that you think people want to go see, because it looked like it was staged. It was in unit in a popular townhome community that was on right off of a main street where traffic is always driving by. Not to the actual townhouse, but the opening to the community. We could get a lot of signage views from that. And they were open to it. They were excited about having an open house. So the agent actually did most of the marketing for us, which was awesome. They created the open house flyer. They created all the Instagram and Facebook posts. And then we were able to use those along with the agent to boost on our social media. So basically, you definitely start marketing at least a week ahead. In the Atlanta market, we have a website called Georgia Open Houses. So we're able to put that in the open house database, and then it markets on all of the websites. So on Zillow, it'll say Open Sunday. On homes.com, on all those websites that everything is routed to, it tells everyone that there's an open house there. And so that's the one thing. And everybody would think, yes, you need to market in, on social media. And KV Core, you can send out and do boost to let people know that you're having an open house. And another thing that I do is I create an invite or an invitation flyer. And Pat and I actually walked around the neighborhood. I typically do it like the Thursday or Friday before the open house, but we had bad weather that week. So we ended up walking around the neighborhood the morning of the open house, passing out flyers. And I have a silly video. Pat, you're going to kill me for actually showing it. But Julie, can you show the open house video? The Instagram post, I think, is what I put on there. But basically, and this is another thing, agents, don't be afraid to post, even though your videos might look crazy, because we got a lot of hits on that video. I think Julie's getting ready to post it. But basically, we walked around, knocked on doors, handed out flyers, and invited all the neighbors to come to the open house. So And the goal with that is the people in the neighborhood see you, and then they're like, wow, that agent is really working to sell this house in my neighborhood. When I am ready to sell, I'm going to remember them. And, they have that flyer. And usually I usually open houses up maybe about an hour earlier for the neighbors to have a private open house. And if I have access to their HOA database or anything, I will send a message to welcome, or that flyer will do like a private open house for the neighbors. So I don't know, Julie, if the video works or not, but
Yeah,
maybe
the video works. Is in there as a link in the chat. So
oh,
she
it's
needs
just
to
a link.
open it
Okay,
up.
you can take a look at it
Yeah,
when you
she can
would
probably
like.
open it up. Yeah. She can
Okay.
probably open it.
Oh yeah, we probably could if y'all want to see it. If you want to see it, let's see. I will show it. I need to share my screen. You may not be able to hear it unless I put the sound. So basically, you can't hear it, but basically I'm saying, hey, here we are. We're walking this neighborhood and we're inviting people to this open house, and we want you to come too. So come to our open house. It was windy that day, so all our balloons were blowing everywhere and our signs. So it was a little crazy, but it was fun. Oh, I had it on mute. I don't think you'd be able to hear it though. But anyway, that was a silly video. I'll stop my share and keep going. So let me tell you what else you need to do and what else we did. When you are placing signage, I have a big thing with signage, and I always tell agents, when you put those signs out, think about if you're going to an open house. How do you get there? So I think about from the main, luckily we didn't have to do too many signs for this house because I mentioned it was on a very, right off of a main thoroughfare in our city. So we put a big sign right at the front of the neighborhood, and that street has like thousands of people to pass that sign. So we put that sign out like the Wednesday before the open house, because in our city we sometimes have signage rules, and people will take signs away. So put your sign out, and hopefully it's still there when you have that open house. But be ready when you come to bring more signs during the open house. But we put the sign out, and on the sign it said open Saturday from 2 to 4. So people would know, come back Saturday because the house is open. Then also signage is put on the house during that week as well. So if people are driving by on a Thursday, they can at least drive by the house and see which house is going to be open. So then on the morning or the night before the open house, I like to put signs that will guide people exactly to the house. So ultimately, there's one up front, but then at the next corner, there's another sign, and those arrows should tell the people if they need to turn left, if they need to turn right. If you have signs that have your actual information on it, then they can call you if they get lost. But I think for that open house, we used about 8 signs. And really, there were only 3 turns, but we wanted to make sure people got there, because there were 4 other listings in the neighborhood. So we didn't want people to be confused. Come to ours. Come to our house. We're doing this one open. And then on the day of the open house, I put 2 balloons, if they're just the regular round balloons, on each sign, so people can see that we're doing an open house, see the balloons. That day it was a no-go because the wind was eating up our balloons as soon as we stepped out to sign, put them on there. Or if you get the Mylar balloons, the bigger balloons, you could use just one. So just little stuff like that will help you get in there. Yes, and someone noted in the chat about HOA newsletters. Another thing that's really cool about some of the HOAs, like in my community, we have a Facebook community page, and an agent beat me to it, but they are the owners of the Facebook community page, which helps the community, but it mainly helps that agent because that agent, every time they have an open house, they post it in that Facebook and do a private open house for the neighborhood, but they also send monthly uh, CMAs for the neighborhood. So if you are a part of a neighborhood or if you have access to another neighborhood, make offer them a Facebook page that you will manage, and then you can sort of take over that neighborhood if you manage their HOA Facebook page. Because people don't have time to do that if they're on the HOA board. And if you take it over, then they can still post and gripe and do all their crazy Facebook neighborhood posts, but you get to use that as a marketing tool. So, like I said, pick the right house, pick the right day, and you can determine that in your area. We do Saturdays and Sundays in our area, and I found that people do Saturdays earlier in our area because people are moving around and running errands and doing that kind of stuff on Saturday. So if you do Saturday evening, people are getting ready to go hang out and do things. So it might be better to do it earlier on a Saturday. Like I mentioned, we do flyers, pass them out to the neighborhood, email campaigns. I invite a lot of agents in your MLS. You may have a way that will tell you what people are looking at your listing. So you can invite those agents to tell their clients to come, and that their clients will be protected if they come to your open house. So you can save that agent some time and tell them, bring your clients. This weekend, I just got a text from an agent who invited me to an open house because one of my clients, I did a search in her area and she saw that my agent hit that. And her video was really cute. She, sent a text video, and I hearted it for her. And she was probably like, yes, someone wants to go. So you can do that. Also, let's see what's on here. Email campaigns, door knocking, which is what we did, social media. Another thing that I've gotten, and I haven't done it, so you can try it. I'll get Julie to post, but there are voicemail programs that can send mass voicemails. So definitely you can use some of those programs, and I'll have Julie put some of those companies. And if any of you have used a mass voicemail program, post that in the chat so that we can know more about it. I haven't used it, but I think it's really cool to actually invite the neighbors or anybody that you can think of that would want to come to this open house. So another thing prior to, sometimes I'll get a lender to help sponsor the open house, and that lender can share things and share with their clients and make your flyers. I probably am going too slow here. Marketing, leveraging social media, invite the neighbors. We always say best day of best practices before I let Kelly on here to share all of the things that she can share. But basically, you plan an open house like it's an event. So for me, you do an event, you send the invitations, you get everything ready, you decide if you're going to serve food. And what I typically do, I have like a little bag that's like my open house bag. So I'll bring waters, like chips that are already pre-bagged, the little small bags of chips, as well as if depending on the open house and where we are, may even do like a champagne or some sparkling water. But I also will bring a roll of the cookie dough and actually cook cookies during the open house. So then the house smells like cookies and they can have cookies to eat. The last open house I did in the winter, I did a hot chocolate open house. And that was an artsy open house because the house was empty. And so my mother is a painter, and I took all of her work that I had extras of and put it all around the house and invited the neighbors to the artsy open house. And actually, a lot of neighbors came and bought some of her work. So it was a combination. So if you know an artist or, like someone who sells home goods, you could probably do a home, decorating party at your empty open houses. And I think the last thing that I could probably share are some scripts that you can use at open houses. You'll get those links in the chat, and there's special talking points. But once you're there, I usually play music, usually like a smooth jazz, upbeat, to make people happy when they come in the house. Make sure all the lights are on. Make sure all of the blinds are open to get as much light in there. Make sure it's comfortable. It's not too cold. It's not too hot. The house is smelling like cookies, and people come in and they're happy, and you welcome them with open arms, and you make sure that they sign in, because that is the key to getting those people in your database and actually hopefully becoming clients of yours. KV Core has an open house app that you can use, that it can be in your phone and they can just fill out the information there. I usually go old school and actually have them sign in on a sign-in sheet. So I'm thinking Kelly, are you ready? I just want to
Yes.
make certain. Have I done everything that I should? Like, did you all understand all of that, hopefully?
Yes, and we'll be available to take questions toward the end of this. And I love talking real estate. So I'm Kelly Jackson. Why you should listen to me? This is my 23rd year, 5 licenses all across the country. I've been in the Midwest, the South, the DMV area. I have an expansion team in Texas that we're rebuilding. We just added an agent today, yay. And open houses from that very first year, 2002, to now, I still do open houses because they work. And so whether you're starting out or you've been in the business as long as I have or longer, open houses can be really a paramount part of your strategy, and not just for buyers. People think, oh, I set an open house and it's, the seller thinks, oh, you're just trying to get extra business. You're thinking I'm wasting my time, or you're not, because it's all the activities that you do around an open house where you're going to see the difference. So and Tomaree talked a lot about things that you can do beforehand, social media, flyers, door knocking, your websites, all of those things are very important. I would like to add Google to that, like really use your Google business platform. Every single one of my events goes on there, and I see a lot of traction from that. Eventbrite is another great one to post your open house, just so you can get people to it. And of course, social media, you have so many platforms to choose from. But the real benefit to you as a realtor of doing open houses, and she mentioned, was to build your database and to systematically follow up with your database. So immediately after that open house, well, let me back up. While you're at the open house, you've got to have some meaningful conversations while you're there. So not just asking people, do you want to buy this house? No, what brings you into our open house? How did you find us today? Do you already live in a community? Have you been following this house? Because we do a coming soon campaign for all of our listings. If you're brand new, or if you don't have any listings, borrow a listing. As Tomaree alluded to, call another agent that has a listing in an area that you want to serve. And don't just sign yourself up to do open houses. Do some investigating of the property, of the neighborhood. How many twists and turns do you have to do before you get there? And visit and tour the property before you have the open house. Talk about the special features that house has. It may be one thing, like, you got to check this house out. This pool is amazing. So give them a little tidbit. Don't do a whole tour of the property. Why do they need to come and see you? So those are some important things beforehand while you're there holding that meaningful conversation with them. And we use the old school paper as well because when they sign in, and our sign-in sheet is not just your name, number, and email. It is actually, let me see if I can share my screen here. It is actually, let me go to my open house stuff here. It is actually asking them some meaningful questions about where they are in the journey. So that's one of our open house sign-in sheets. And on the side, do they need to buy now? Do they plan to buy within a year? Do they need to sell? Are they just shopping? Our other sign-in sheet's a little bit more comprehensive. Oh, you can't see my screen?
You're not sharing
Ah,
the actual sheet that you opened. We just see your
okay.
your drive.
All right, let me try this one more time. Technology. Well, thank you, Keith, for letting me know. Okay. Can you see it now? Can you see it now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Okay, so here is our first open house checklist. I'm sorry, our open house sign-in. We actually asked them some questions about their journey. And this one's a little bit more comprehensive. Are they looking for a single family, a townhome, bedrooms, baths, time frame, and also permission to contact them? Because we are in an age of TCPA. So in terms of reaching out to people who don't want us to reach out, that's a big no. So we do have that in there. But that's important because as soon as that open house is over, and once they sign in and as they leave, we flip it over on the back and take some notes about them. So we'll say, oh, they came where, the last one we had, her and her dad was buying together. Because once they leave, we don't know who the heck all these people are. So we have notes on the back that correspond to their checking in. Keith, you're going to remind me what? So then the next thing we do, we stand outside the house and we make a thank you video. And so we text them and thank you for coming to this property because they may have gone to multiple open houses and we want them to be memorable. And so whether you had them sign in with paper or you had them sign in with an app, it has to go into your CRM. Like even if you're dog tired after that open house, get them into your CRM so that you can systematically follow up with them. And if you have not followed up with people, a great line, you could go to your CRM right now and say, are you still looking? I met you at wherever it was you met them, at whatever open house. And I was thinking about you. Are you still looking to purchase a house in whatever neighborhood that was in? That's the end of the text message. You can send that out and that will reignite. You'll be surprised how many relationships that will reignite and spark interest, even if it was 6 months to a year ago. So everyone, that's something everyone could do today. Anyone they have tagged open house, reach out to those people because they may not have been ready then, but they might be ready now, or you can at least enter into a new conversation with them. Tomaree mentioned door knocking. Door knocking is great because you get to invite them to the open house. They get to see you. You have an actual face-to-face. I would have something meaningful with me, like a one-page CMA for the neighborhood, and invite them to the open house. If they can't come, see if you can get their email address. Let them know, hey, I keep my finger on the pulse of this neighborhood, and I would like to include you in. I'm not going to spam you, but I'll add you to my newsletter. And so that's how you really start to build some meaningful relationships in that neighborhood. Every time someone lists a property, you can reach out, particularly if they're with your brokerage, reach out and say, hey, I'd love to hold an open house at your property if you don't have time to. So that's about, what we do in terms of pre. Afterwards, we're going to set them up on a search. And we're going to go up and down in price, because just because you held an open house at a property for 500,000, we may go, from the bottom of our market up, uh, so that we're encompassing not just that price range that they were in, because it's likely that wasn't the house for them. They just saw the signs and came in. Clearly, they didn't buy it. So you're going to make sure that you're leveraging that information. Also, if it's your listing and that property goes under contract, that is a perfect opportunity for you to start all over and say, you know what, Keith, I know that you live in this neighborhood and have a house. I wanted to let you know that open house that I held last weekend. Well, I got 10 offers on that property, and unfortunately, there's 9 other pre-approved buyers who want to be in this community. Have you given any consideration to selling your house in the next 3 to 6 months? Because I know that some of these buyers, they only want this neighborhood. I'd be happy to come over and tell you what your house would go for, because based on the feedback from this particular property, this market is on the way up. And so that's going to be something you can send that out by mail. You can call them. You can go back to the same doors you knocked. But that's a way to get seller business from that same open house that you held a week, 2 weeks ago. Keep them informed about what happened with that open house, because the other sellers in the neighborhood want to know what happened. They want to know how many people came. How much did it sell for? Did they have to do any repairs? Did they have to pay closing costs? So they want to know all that information. And when it closes, same thing. It's another opportunity, because people need multiple touches from you before they feel like they're curious about you. Because right now you're unknown to these people. You go from unknown to known to under consideration when you're following up with people. And so making sure that we also so we have to change our mindset around open houses as well. Because if we hold an open house, sometimes when you get 24 people, as Tomaree mentioned, you don't have an opportunity to hold a meaningful conversation with 24 people. You may only have had 3 good people come through there, but you better make sure that you've had 3 meaningful conversations with those 3 people, because you only need 1 or 2 or 3 clients from each open house to really, really make a huge impact in your business. So stop thinking that you have to have so many people come through there. You have to have some people who you can hold a meaningful conversation with, follow up systematically with, and help. Also, an open house is a great way, especially if you're at a company like EXP, where we attract other agents. It's a great opportunity for us to meet with agents and have meaningful conversations with other real estate agents who may be with other companies. Or you can even go to other open houses. So change your mindset around an open house. Another thing that we do to engage neighbors, especially when our open house, let's say it's on a cul-de-sac or it's somewhere where you're going to tie up traffic, then it's a great idea to go with a nominal Starbucks card, knock on those doors, and there's branded cards you can get with your information and say, you know what, I just want to apologize in advance. We're having an open house this Saturday and we're expecting a great turnout. I hope you don't mind that people are going to be parked, probably everywhere. And so I wanted to give you this Starbucks card so you can have a cup of coffee on me, so that just for your inconvenience. That's going to leave an impression on that neighbor that far reaches anything else that you do. Number one, you're considerate, you're doing the work that they see you working. And then when you follow up with that seller and let them know, hey, we got it under contract already, you already have a fan, whether you know it or not, that's yours to lose. And so we have to use our open houses as a strategy and not a one-off. And so we send them our resume after This is why you should work with us. And this is over time. So it's systematic. It's not just throw things at them, but over time, as we're following up with people who came to the open house, people in the community, we may send them things like a neighborhood update. That neighborhood you visit this property, here's a little bit more information about it. Here's my resume. Here's why you should work with me. Here's some value from our lender. Also, our lender is at the open house. You can't provide me with your information unless you're standing there and working that open house with us. So he's there doing spot pre-approvals. If 24 people showed up, and we had the one we did 2 weeks ago, there were so many people. He was able to talk with people. Keith was talking to people. I was talking to people. There were people everywhere. And so he's there to do spot pre-approvals, because especially if you have a house that's really hot and they're interested in it, here's our lender right now. I can introduce you to him. And oh, by the way, he has some of the best rates in the industry. And so that introduction is super important. So our lender actually has to come out and be boots on the ground. He helped Keith put signs up. Like this is a all hands on deck. So we really have to think about our team, which is our lender partner. It may also be that, we leverage our title company to give us addresses, who in the neighborhood has been in a property for 20 years and they have stairs, looking at things like that. So really putting some effort into our open houses because really an open house could be your only pillar of business and you could sell 50, 60 houses a year, because you're doing all the things to advertise it up front. You're doing the door knocking, you're having the signage up, you're making sure people sign in and give them a reason to sign in. If you're having issues with people, so we have a sign on the door that says you have to sign in. We ask them to sign in, and we also offer value. So we will tell them, hey, we have off-market listings and we do. We have, if you're at EXP, we have EXP exclusives. We have all the for sale by owners and expires that are in the area. We have people in our database. We have off-market listings that they don't know about yet. And so tell me more about what you're looking for, because maybe one of our off-market listings would benefit you more than this house would. And that's part of those meaningful conversations that we're having with people, not just they walk in the house, hey, you saw our open house, this price is, this is the price, it has this many bedrooms and bathrooms. No, people are looking for a human touch. Any robot can do that. And so we want to have that human touch. Hey, let me put you on my off-market list and tell you about our deal of the week that we send out, these houses that no one else knows. You'll know about them first. And so when we talk about getting a buyer to sign a buyer agency agreement, a lot of these buyers, as Tomaree alluded to, are coming in. And yes, I'll share the open house sign-in sheet. And she alluded to it, but a lot of these buyers are coming in unrepresented because they haven't either started that relationship process, which means they haven't signed a buyer agency. So they're not going and looking at properties with anyone. And now here you are telling them about how your lender is going to give them the best rates in the industry, how you have off-market deals that no one else knows about, how you're going to hold their hand through the process. We have our buyer and seller guides handy as well for those buyers and sellers that come in, and you can get that on Canva or anywhere else and brand it to yourself. So really treating it just like you would a listing appointment. You are at a listing audition for buyers and sellers when you're at an open house. So we got to change our mindset around, oh, this is just holding a house open. This is me demonstrating my craft at every opportunity. And so that's how I think of an open house, because believe it or not, I'm an introvert. I do not like going out and meeting a bunch of strangers, but I understand the importance of hosting open houses so that I can have conversations one-to-many with the community versus, you can make phone calls, of course, and you can do this, but if you have a solid open house strategy, and I believe my open house strategy is on Grow Global from last year when I did this, but following that checklist is a whole business and it can really get you into momentum. We've had so many people come to open houses that it was 6 months later and they bought from us after that. So I created my own checklist because I like to just keep adding stuff and it makes sure that we don't miss anything. And at even if you're at a home inspection, door knocking and with that one-page CMA is golden. You're not standing there just useless. You're actually doing something. Hey, I just brought a buyer for this house. Here's our one-page CMA. So, but I promised we would keep it to 20 minutes. And so I can go on and on about lead generation and how to grow your business. But the important thing is to change your mindset. And finally, I would like to say that Keith and there was an agent who had a listing. She was expired, the homeowner was. And I started talking to her, and she had an agent who lived in the community who was completely just the agent for that area. And I started talking to her, and I found out that agent would only do open houses on Sunday. And so I said, I'd be willing to do a commuter open house. And guess whose commuter open house sold the property? It was on a Tuesday. Was it Tuesday or Thursday, Keith? I think it was a Tuesday.
It was a
We
Tuesday,
had
four to
we
six,
held an
right?
we
4 to
held an
6.
open house from 4 to 6 on a Tuesday. In walked the buyers who purchased the property, and she wrote a wonderful Google review for me based upon that open house. And she said Kelly and Keith were willing to do things that no other agents were willing to do. So think about it that way. Don't think about an open house as a Saturday, Sunday. We do commuter open houses. We catch the people. If you're on a main street, in this case, people had to come past it. They got off the metro. If you're in one of those areas where there's going to be traffic, those commuter open houses, people have kids, they have activities on Saturdays and Sundays. They don't have time. But some busy people, the people that came in there were all meaningful conversations. People that we're still following up with. The buyers came in, and of course, we have other clientele who came to that open house. So start thinking outside the box, because the market that we're in right now calls for professionals and not hobbyists. And so your open house strategy really needs to have an operating procedure behind it, a checklist that you're going to follow, and really put some effort into them because they'll pay off. All right, so we're going to open it up for questions.
Yes, I noticed in the chat, is it Tony? Tony, let me see.
Yes.
You had some really great ideas in there, and I think you had your hand up for a second.
Oh, I was just gonna, I ended up typing them in the chat that I was just gonna point out as little extra things, because doing open houses, when you do them, if it's a vacant house or something of that nature, go to the dollar store, get as many bottles of mouthwash, poured in every open drain, whether it's a shower or a sink. Somebody will think that, man, you got halitosis or something going on, but it'll actually make the home smell so much better. If it's a house that has somebody listing it, that lives in it, get like a little bit of vanilla, it could be oil, it could just be, like the vanilla you put in for baking on a Kleenex, and put a couple of those, sprinkle them in, every room. It enhances the smell and takes away the live-in odor, which obviously you want it smelling the best you can, but you don't want it to be a very artificial smell. And that's what I found works really well. And it goes right along with your chocolate chip cookies idea, which I love. I always do. You know, the Nestle Take and Bake break apart, easiest things to use and greatest thing in the world.
Mm-hmm. Yes. No, those are great ideas. I've been selling houses now. I've been an agent for 27 years. And I remember years ago, I've fallen into ditches, putting signs out. Just the craziest things happen. I show up to an open house and the house is dirty. So I started keeping like if it's vacant, I've kept brooms in my car, vacuums, little mini vacs so I could clean up a house.
Oh,
Um,
Swiffers are the greatest thing in the world.
yes. So, I mean, because sometimes you don't know what your client, you remind them and tell them you're going to do an open house. So get there early because you may need to put some clothes in the laundry room and hide them. You may need to freshen up. There may be things that you wouldn't want to be out there. Maybe even when we talk about security, sometimes people will leave things out that you don't want people roaming around their house seeing.
Oh yeah.
And then security wise, you mentioned too, Tony. Um, I try to do open houses with other agents, but often we can't, right?
Well, no,
So
I was saying
But
that to go with lender as well. You don't have to have an
Mhm.
agent. It's better if you have the lender because then not only do you have an additional add-on, but you also have that security factor. And when I say this, like I'm a big dude, I'm not afraid of many things, but there are people out there who they will target open houses and think that you're all alone in there and can come after you.
yeah, security is we need to do a whole class on security here on Grow Global. But I always, if I'm doing an open house by myself, I usually will be near the door. I'll keep it, if they have a screen, I may lock the screen and make them ring the doorbell so that I'll know that they're there. And then when they come, I ask them to sign up for security reasons. I'll say the seller has requested that we, note everyone who's come in their house, so you can't come in unless you sign. And of course, people can put whatever name they want. How do I
Yeah.
know? But I always, if I'm ever in doubt, and typically if I'm by myself, I will keep my body closest to the door and the person between me and the door. So I will be in between the door and the person. So if I need to get out of there, I will be able to get out quickly. So I'll say, come on in, turn to the right, and you can see that, and I'll direct them instead of getting in a compromised position where I can't get out. So
And
that's
just
my
to throw one more
security.
thing on for
Mm-hmm.
safety, keep your car parked in the street and don't leave it in
Mhm.
the driveway to get blocked in. And make certain you have your keys on you, not just sitting in your purse. Anything in your purse that can be replaced, but have your keys on you so if you need to go, you can get out of there and get to safety. Also, always have your phone on you as well. That's another little
So,
tip.
and I would say for women, there's no reason to have a purse at an open house. I have my phone on so it's like a purse. My phone is attached to me. It's got a little tiny wallet in the back, and that's it. And because there's no reason to have a purse, and the person does not have to be in the industry that's at the open house with you. You do not. You can have a friend. You can. I always invite my past clients to stop by. So it's making sure that you have someone there that knows where you are, and that's with everything, with showings, with open houses, someone that knows where you are. On our Century Lock app, we have where it'll send a message to Keith and my daughter that something's going on with the showing. So there are some safety and use everyone should be using Forewarn. I had a guy call me who was held people at their will and had done some prison time. for kidnapping and victimization of people. But I was able to find out on Forewarn that I'm not working with him. And he wanted me to show him a vacant house that was over 5,000 square feet. So, and somebody mentioned having a gun, uh, if your state allows it. But I would say, there's things like mace. And what are those things that, what were they, a Kubaton?
Tasers.
Yeah, so there's,
a Kubaton.
yes, it'll give them a good stab and you can run. And they have them, they look like ink pens and so forth. So there's a lot of safety measures out there that we can take. I personally don't do open houses alone, just because I had two people show up when all the way back in 2002 that there were two men. One got out and the other one, he let him out, but I had happened to be peeking because the open house was dead. And there was a family there there was one family there with kids, and I ended up playing ball with the kids. I refused to let these people go. I kept them at that open house, and they finally figured out like these two guys kind of look shady. And I mean, I was throwing the ball and I did everything to stop them from leaving, and they didn't leave. But I knew that those two were up to no good. They pretended they didn't know each other, but I had seen them because I was peering out the window, wondering where's the rest of the people. And I've never done an open house alone since then because of that. So definitely safety is above all else. And if all else fails, leave them in the house and you make a run for it.
Yes, 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 yes. I loved your idea about the gift cards, apologizing to the neighbors. That's so cool. That I'm keeping that and putting that on my checklist as well. For other reasons to knock on the neighbor's door.
I'm going to send
Another
this sign-in sheet to Julie so that she can put it up on Grow Global.
another thing, which kind of goes along with your gift cards. I always usually try to have a giveaway, whether it's a gift card, bottle of wine, something that people who come, because I'm having them sign in, I tell them this is also for an entry into the raffle to win something, as well as letting the owners know who was in their house. And then that way it helps drive business in when people know, oh, he gives stuff away, this agent gives stuff away and everything.
And then I would say also don't be afraid to go over the sign-in sheet because someone mentioned they can't understand the writing. And you could have QR codes and trust that people are going to sign in, but what I found is unless they get watched, they sometimes don't. And then I'll go through, does this say Keith Jackson, Keith sells DMV at Gmail? So I'll go over what their email says and their phone numbers to verify that it's the correct information. Because when you do that, they're less likely to lie for some reason about that. And when you've told them that you have off-market properties, that's another reason that I tell them that. Someone asked about off-market properties, is because they're going to give you their correct information because they want that information. You now have something that they want. And so, and the person asked, where do we find off-market properties? So there's a number of ways. You can look for sale by owners in the community. And for sale by owners are everywhere. They're for salebyowner.com. They're on Zillow. They're in various places that you can find people that are doing for sale by owners. Also, any expired listings that expired in that community. And we're seeing more and more expires come up. And maybe these people haven't relisted their properties, but maybe they'll take an offer. And so those are off-market listings. We look in EXP exclusives for other agents who have properties that are coming soon, or for whatever reason, a seller doesn't have them on the open market yet. Also in our database. So our database has people who they want to sell, but maybe they aren't ready to sell. Maybe they don't want showings. People who have requested cash offers. We get a number of leads from cash offer platforms. And so all of these people are off-market listings. Don't make it too complicated. The off-market listing doesn't have to have some sort of relationship where they've signed something yet, because now you're going to broker that relationship between that buyer and potentially that gives that buyer the reason to tell you what they're looking for. And now you can go through your database and your for sell by owners, your expires to see what else there is available for them. So it gives you an opportunity to demonstrate your value to these buyers. And once you do have that buyer consultation with them, you can let them know, hey, I'm the type of person that if you let me know that you want to live in a certain area and there's no inventory, I'm going to create some inventory because I'm going to pick up the phone. I'm going to call my title company and give me a list, or I'm going to go to sources like the Red X, Vulcan 7, Mojo, any of those platforms, My Plus Leads, to get the names in that community. And then I'm going to call them and see who's willing to sell a house to a pre-approved buyer who's pre-approved for this much money, who is looking for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath property. And we can also use our social media and our database for that too. Because if you have buyers that are looking for certain criteria, why wouldn't you reverse sell and let people know, hey, Facebook friends, who do you know who would be willing to sell a property? I have a pre-approved buyer. They're ready to go. They need something by June. This is their price point, and they're just looking for something like this. And so that's another way. We've done that on Nextdoor. We've done that on our Ring neighbors who love to talk and gab. There's so many different ways that we could take a pre-approved buyer and turn that into, and I know this is outside of open houses. Keith, don't give me a look, but that's another strategy that you can use after the fact to find them a property.
I've got also another real quick tip that's kind of off of open houses, but it works. As you're driving a neighborhood, if you see a house that's getting renovated, stop in, talk, ask for the owner's contact information. You might be able to do you might be able to do an open house for that investor, because it could be an investor's home that they're rehabbing, as well as get yourself a potential listing. And that's something else that's off market before anyone else has it. You can be talking to your buyers to get them ready for this. And if you know that investor or that investment company that's doing it, and you can look up some of their previous work, you can talk to your buyers and say, hey, I know we got this coming up on the market, uh, to help you with that.
Yes. So and all of this kind of boils down to being the professional and being the advocate for our clients, and not just relying on what's in the MLS, relying on what we can see, but actually using our tools and resources that we as industry professionals have at our disposal. All right, so what's coming up next on Grow Global? We have 2 minutes, so I wanted to find out what's coming up next so that we can continue to add value to agents in the community. Julie, are you there?
Julie or Jim?
Yeah, Julie here. Hang on, I will share my screen. I'll show you the upcoming events on Monday. Hang
Okay.
on, give me 2 seconds.
Yes, we did.
While Julie's doing that, I forgot, here's one other thing which you can do, which will add not only value for your for your listings, for your open houses, but for safety as well. If part of your package, when you get a listing, you can also do like a security system in there, like Simply Safe. And then that way, if ever something happens, there's panic modes on there that you can hit and have another safety feature inside the home as well.
Yes.
So next on Grow Global, and thank you everyone for coming. Kelly says she's going to share on the website her checklist, and then on
Yes.
Canva there are a lot of open house checklists too. But coming up, Mastering the Art of Buyer Consultation next Monday with Marcy Fox. So mark your calendars for April 21st. And we appreciate everybody for coming, and we hope to see you next Monday. Thank you, Kelly.
All
Thank you
right.
so much. It was amazing.
Thank you, everyone, for coming.
Great job, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you, Laura.
Have a good week.